Welcome back. Another day, another airdrop video strategies. In this video, we're looking at 5 potential airdrops that we're going to be covering in this video. Again, those airdrops are zkSync, LayerZero, Orbiter, SyncSwap, and Polygon zkEVM. Now, there've been a lot of talks whether or not Polygon can do an airdrop since they already have Matic. But one thing I discovered from one of their, I don't know if the CEO or something like that, he actually said that there is no rule that says you cannot do an airdrop even when you have a token available on the market. So for that reason, I thought it was a good idea to include it on this strategy. Again, it's important that you keep repeating these, interacting with these networks over a long period of time. As you can see here on Arbitrum, that had you just bridged to Arbitrum and Arbitrum Nova, you would have qualified for a little bit of the airdrop. But the more transactions you do over time, as you can see here, over 9 months, it had you qualify for that, you get more airdrops. Now, if you conducted over 100 transactions or interacted with over 100 smart contracts, you actually get more airdrop in your wallet. So that is very important. Obviously, in our upcoming videos, we'll be looking at how can you accumulate trading volume over time, because that is very important as well. We can see that here, if you interacted or rather transacted with over $250,000, you'd have obviously earned more airdrop. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you just how to interact with these blockchains, but I will then make a separate video, targeting how can you at least reach $10,000 even if you don't have $10,000 in your account. If all that sounds good to you, make sure that you subscribe. In this channel, we'll cover airdrop videos like these ones and also how to trade on the futures market. The reason why we cover these airdrop videos, because over time, I've seen that if you interact with enough of the smart contracts, you actually end up getting a lot of money. If you watch our videos yesterday, I actually showed you that one airdrop actually earned about $160,000 in just one airdrop. So you can see that you can have a lot of money. Now, once you have that money, you can then bring it here on the futures market to trade with using leverage. Obviously, you don't have to over leverage. I always say that people must be overfunded and under leverage, and I believe that airdrop can give you that possibility of you being overfunded. Now, as always, I'll leave this information here on our Discord. Just head over to the airdrop section. By now, I'm sure you know exactly how to get there. All right, so let's get started. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you have a little bit of funds, about $2 on BNB, because the first step that we want to do here is to buy some cake. I'll show you how to do that. And overall, if you have about $30 on your account, you'll be using about $6 on transaction fees, or even less, even about $3 on transaction fees. So even if you have $20, you can still follow along with this strategy. As always, you're only using that $5 to $6 on transaction fees, so the rest of the funds will remain in your account. So let's get started by heading over to PancakeSwap over here. And what we want to do here is to buy some cake, right? So I'm going to click on swap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and exchange my BNB for cake. So in this case, I can come here and just buy 0.5 cake and go ahead and swap that. So I believe that is completely done. Now, this is on a Binance Smart Chain. It's got nothing to do with an airdrop. But what you want to do is to come back here to this section. So what you want to do here is to then connect your wallet. So let's maybe first disconnect all the wallets. Then I'll click connect. I'll connect MetaMask. And I'll also connect MetaMask here in the bottom. I'll connect MetaMask here as well. So you can see we've got 2 wallets connected. And here I want to change this to the Binance Smart Chain. And I want to then bring that cake that we just bought on the other side, and I want to bridge it over to zkEVM. So I'm going to click here, Polygon zkEVM, and I'm bridging that entire amount. So I'm going to transfer this. Now, the reason why we're starting with this step, because it takes a little bit of time. Like I said, when I tried this earlier on, it took about a day for this transaction to go through. So you don't have to worry about this. You don't actually have to do all these process in one day. You can watch this video over 2 days or over a week. It really is up to you. You can see we're spending about 16 cents on transaction fees. So again, when you're using BNB, transactions are very, very, very cheap. So let's just wait for this to then get executed. Again, this uses a LayerZero technology. As you can see here, this says LayerZero. I don't know why it says transaction failed, but yeah, let's try it again. Now it's actually went through for some good reason. We did the very same thing. Now if we click here, you can see that this uses a LayerZero. Obviously this transaction is going to be pending. Like I said, this transaction may take over a day in order for it to go through from Binance Smart Chain to zkEVM. As you can see here, it says still searching, but this uses a LayerZero technology, which is very, very good. So already we are interacting with LayerZero and we are accumulating more transactions over time, which is very important. So now that we've done with this, actually now, I don't know, it's taking, you can see it says here about 20 or rather 50 something seconds. So it looks like it may actually complete very fast, but anyway, it's fine. We'll come back to this page later in this video. Let's go ahead and now get started with our initial, step one, which is bridging funds from Orbiter. I'm actually just want to bring funds from Arbitrum. So maybe we still have to switch from here. Click on your MetaMask and switch this over. Bring this to Arbitrum 1. You can see that I do have a little bit of funds for me to do these videos here. So I'm going to go ahead and just move 0.005. You can move 0.006 if you want. So let's move 0.006. And I'm moving this over to zKSync error, and I'll send this through. I actually didn't pay attention as to how much money we're spending there on gas fees. But again, guys, you're going to be spending a lot of money on gas fees. Later in this video, I'm going to show you how you can check your wallet with regards to how many transactions you've done. You can see the amount of gas fees that you've spent over time on a specific blockchain. So yes, this does take some money, but it costs money to make money, right? So let's come back here. This should finish fairly quickly. Okay, this is done. It's fine. Let's now go back and now move funds to Polygon zkEVM. I'm going to move the same amount of money. I'll just click send, confirm. Now we're bridging to two blockchains. Now, if you watched our previous video, you don't actually have to bridge those funds because maybe you still have funds on zKSync, but I don't know. It really is up to you. The more you bridge, the more you transact, the more potential airdrops you will get. As you can see on Arbitrum, if you had deposited or bridged over $250,000, you would have accumulated X amount of money. So also bridging over time does work in your favor. So this is also done, which means now we do have funds on zKSync and also Polygon zkEVM. So let's move on to the next step. The next step is to then, if you're using this for the first time, is to click on this link and add your network on your MetaMask. So I've already prepared these two links. Just click on this one here, click add to MetaMask, and also click this one, click add to MetaMask. I've already done that, so I don't have to redo it here. So I'm gonna click out of that and come back to the next step here. The next step here is to use SyncSwap. Again, SyncSwap, they are rumored to do an airdrop. If you guys been following me since last year, you'll recall that we also used zKSync. We also got some airdrop with regards to Zigzag Exchange. So I did get about $300 there. So you can see that, yes, you're not really getting the airdrops that you're looking for, but you're getting a little bit of money, which may cover your gas fees. So here, what do we need to do? Let's just go back to our information here. We now need to swap Ethereum for MAV. So right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on trade and swap ETH. I'm going to select MAV here. I already done this prior to me making this video. So let's say swap 0.002, for example, because I've already done it. Now you can see here that you're paying a lot on gas fees, but the nice thing is that you can actually wait to get reduced amount on gas fees. But also the nice thing is that you get a refund here. You can see that about $1 will be refunded back to my wallet on gas fees. But also, if you feel that is a little bit too much, I've actually included a list here, the one at the bottom. If you click on that list, will show you how much gas you're actually paying right now. So you actually just need to wait for this number to drop in order for you to be paying less on gas fees. But right now, I'll say it's relatively very, very cheap, or this is more or less a normal price. But if this number goes up maybe to 100, then you will maybe need to wait until this number drops to about 40 or 30 something. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So I'm going to click out of that. So the next thing here is to, because we've done this step here, the next thing is to then use Polygon zkEVM. And to do that, just click on this link here. And for that, we need to move Ethereum for rep ETH. If you recall, on the Arbitrum airdrop, you had to use different smart contracts. So by using different websites, that means you're also using different smart contracts. So let's come back here. What you need to do is to click on swap, click on here. And if you actually click here, you can see that it's actually taking some time to load, but you can see that we do have our funds here. So I can click on that. Then I'll move 0.003, for example, and I'll move that to wrapped Ethereum. So click on that and confirm on your MetaMask. Now you can see that this transaction is going through. Again, now this is confirmed, so that's fine. We're done on this for now. Now the next step is to click on this link here. We're going to be using Woof Finance. We're going to be swapping that Ethereum, that's wrapped Ethereum, back to Ethereum, still on Polygon zkEVM. So now we can see we're using a second smart contract on Polygon. It's going to automatically connect your wallets because you're already on that network. And I'll just go ahead and move the rest of the funds that I have on rep ETH and move it back to Ethereum. Okay, now we actually did approve this. You can see that it is on this network here, so it's fine. So now we can actually swap the token. Confirm. You can see now it actually did change. Earlier on it was saying we need to pay $100 on gas fees, so you just need to be patient with these things. You can see now it's actually going through. You can add this on your MetaMask if you want, but you can just also view this on the Blockchain Explorer, which was successful, as you can see here. So you can see it was actually successful. It went through. So you just have to keep trying, because sometimes these things don't work. And now that we've completed that, now we need to move to Stargate. Remember, Stargate is more like the main desk on LayerZero. So I'm going to click on that. I'll connect my wallet. I'll just leave it on zkEVM. And what I'm going to do, actually, let's move it to zkEVM. I'll tell you why we're doing this. Under zkEVM, you remember that we actually bought that cake and we actually bridged it over to zkEVM. As you can see here, this is now complete. And if we click here, you can see this transaction was indeed on LayerZero, right? So if we come back here, now we can see that cake here. Obviously I had more, so I'm going to click on that. And I'm actually going to bridge this over to Binance Smart Chain. So I'm bringing that cake back to the Binance Smart Chain where we actually bought it, where I can now transact and actually bridge it back to BNB or whatever token I want. I'm going to click Max. But this, yesterday when I tried it, when I was doing this research for this video, it was expensive, about $2 on gas fees. Let's see how it goes right now. So right now I'm paying 19 cents to approve that, which is also expensive. But let's see the actual gas as to how much it cost. Again, this uses a LayerZero technology. So now we had done 2 transactions on LayerZero, but we're still going to do 1 more transaction, which is going to make it 3 transactions on LayerZero today. You can see this was also rejected. Let's try again. I don't know, for some odd reason, things seems not to be going through today. Okay, today it's actually cost very less. It's about $1. So I'm gonna pay that, confirm. And now it is actually going through. You can see it's gonna take about a minute for this to go through. Again, this uses a LayerZero. So now once this is done, what we can do is to take this cake and bridge it back to BNB or even to a stable coin on Binance Smart Chain. But I'm actually going to show you the list of the transactions that we did on this video later on before we end the video. So now we just have to wait for this, because the next step is actually using Stargate again. We're going to be bridging over the funds that we bought earlier on the zkSync network. So while we're waiting for that, maybe we can say exit out of this and then move to a different network. Maybe that will help. I'm not sure. Maybe let's give it like a minute or so and see how far it goes, because the next thing we need to do is to then move funds from zkEVM, zkSync, and we're going to move these funds that we bought earlier on, MAV. Remember, we did buy that here on SyncSwap. So this was a transaction on zkSync, but now we're taking the very same transaction and bridging it back using LayerZero. So while we're waiting for that to actually execute, let's go ahead and just move these funds. So just click here and change this to zkSync error mainnet, and then select this asset that we bought on SyncSwap, and we're moving that back to BNB, and I'm going to move all of it. Then I'll click transfer. We have to change network in this case back to zkSync. You can see this cost about $2. Again, this is the most expensive one, but it's fine. I'll pay for it, because I know, and I've seen the airdrop money anyway. These $2 that you spend here and there on gas fees, they will seem like nothing if we do get the token or the airdrop. So again, now it's just a matter of waiting for this, and basically we're almost done. The only thing that you have to do is to go back. Once these two transactions are complete, you need to go back to this platform here, or rather this one here, and bridge the funds back. I'm going to show you just now. Now you can see also these funds that we actually bridged now from LayerZero here. You can see this transaction is now available here. You can see, so if we click here, we can now bridge this also to BNB if that's what we want. If you want, you can bridge it to BNB, so I can say max and then bridge that over to BNB, or you can actually come back here on LayerZero, then bridge it back to zkSync, and then convert it on zkSync, then convert it back to Ethereum. It really is up to you. So I'm gonna hit complete. All right, so now that we've done with the cake transaction, what we can do is to move this transaction here that we just bridged from zkSync. So I'm gonna click on that, and now I'm just gonna convert this to BNB. And I'm gonna click max. You can see here this doesn't allow us to move because it's saying the price is the impact is going to be so high. So in this case you have to change the tolerance or the slippage. So if I move this to, let's say, 10% and exit out of that, you can see that it still doesn't allow me even though I'm moving it to this. So now you can see that when we try to transact this back to BNB, there will be a high price impact. So even if you increase the slippage, it still wouldn't go through. I don't know what's the issue here. Maybe you guys can let me know in a description. I think there isn't enough liquidity or something like that. But anyway, what we can do in this case, if we don't want to hold this on the Binance Smart Chain, we can just bring it back to zkEVM. Anyway, that's going to be another transaction on LayerZero. I'm going to click max and then transfer this. Now I'm just bringing it back to zkSync. I'll approve this. Unfortunately, I'm going to be paying more gas fees now because I didn't initially mean, but you can see the gas fees are actually very cheap if you're moving it from Binance Smart Chain. So I'm going to exit out of that, and now you can see that we're now moving it back to zkSync, and again this uses LayerZero. So now it's just a matter of us waiting to have these funds on zkSync so that we can swap them back to Ethereum, and that will be the end of this video. Now you can see this is now complete, which means we do have this transaction completed on LayerZero. Again, we probably now have about 4 or 5 transactions on LayerZero. You can see this was delivered. So what we can do is to come back here on sync swap, and I'm just gonna go ahead and switch networks here. Now what we can do is to come here and select this. If you don't want to be holding it, again, you don't have to do this in one go. You can do this a day after, or just, you know, days apart or something like that. When I click max and bridge those funds back to Ethereum, when I click max here, approve this. Again, the nice thing here is that you get gas refunds. So even if you're paying a lot for those gas fees, you end up getting those gas refunds back. You can see here I'm paying about $1.76, but half of that is going to be reimbursed to me. You can see about 80% of that is going to be, you know, sent back to me, about $1.34. So I paid about 34 cents for that transaction fee. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you this, how much exactly I spent on gas fees here just in a moment. So we are now complete with, or rather done with this tutorial. Again, these are all the steps that we did here. So let's come back here to DBank. Again, if you guys don't know how to use DBank, just copy your wallet address. Again, this is not necessarily my wallet. I'm just using this wallet for educational purposes, and I'm gonna paste my wallet address over here. You can see it has $400, and what I'm looking for is to click on transactions. Now you can see this is the last transaction that we did, and obviously this is on zKSync, and this is the transaction that we did. This is on LayerZero, and I did this off camera because I had to buy some more gas fees on BNB, but all these transactions were actually on LayerZero, so that's more transactions for me. But you can see that this is where we started our video today. I'm just gonna click more here. All right, so this is where we started our video today, and we paid about 11 cents here, 0.02. These are all the gas fees here on top, right? So just keep that in mind. You can see the biggest one we've paid was 61 cents and 47 cents, another 47 cents here, but obviously this was now off camera. If you combine all this, it's actually less than $5, I'll argue. Yeah, so that's it for this video. For those of you who are new, I always leave all my research document here. So this document will be under the airdrop section on our Discord. And to get into our Discord, it's very simple. Just come to our website, make sure that you signed up using our link here. This is the link, and then deposit at least $100, and then provide us with your UID and your email address, and then we'll give you a one-time clickable link to join our Discord. Now, the reason why we're doing this is simply because we want to provide value to people who are really serious about learning, and not just provide value to people who are not serious about anything. So just come to under airdrop section. That's where I'm gonna post this document. As always, you can see all the documents and my research that I posted for previous videos. I'll see you guys on the next one. Check out the rest of the playlist that is showing on the screen right now, where I go in depth with all the airdrops that I believe are gonna be coming up in the future. I'm Vusi Designer. I'll see you there. Goodbye. Peace.